Welcome to the Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast, the show for real estate couples about how to close more deals in the bedroom. My name is Nancy Jameson.
And I'm Bill Jameson.
And each week we deep dive into juicy, intentional, sexy conversations, sharing with you what it takes to create balance in your intimate relationships and your real estate business. Thank you so much for being here.
What's up, babe?
Hey, baby.
What's going on?
Lots of wonderful things. It's a beautiful day, and we just finished doing some videos for all of our businesses, and we are here again in the lap of luxury in our bedroom, about to record. So yes. Amazing.
Yeah, and you look great with your red lipstick and your red love t-shirt.
Thank you. Or
shirt or blouse. I don't know what I call that thing. The covering that which covers the top of you.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great videos today. Fun making them. We made some separately, made some together, and that was fun. And they'll be all over the internets soon for sure. And I think that actually leads us into our magic today. You know, that thing that we do every week that influences self, others, and life in an empowering way. We call it magic.
Yes, we do.
And magic this week is really about this project that we've been working on for I don't know, for a while.
Many years.
Many years now.
It's much more than a project. It's our fourth business.
Yeah, and it is our fourth business. It's
we're part of a fourth business.
Yeah, and it's part of a business that's been integrated into our lives as a lifestyle for, again, years and years and years since 2012 for us. And so it's an app launch. I'm going to put it out there. We're part of a team that is helping to launch a health and fitness app that is powered by love and balance.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. So, you guys have heard us talk about this before. It's a health and fitness philosophy. So it's the Your Day Balance Game, and headquarters is right here in Sandy Springs on Roswell Road. And we've been a part of that again since 2012, and it's been so incredible. Everything, just the awareness, the fitness, the lifestyle, the consciousness, and just imbuing that. And it's such a huge part of our life that we firmly believe in it to the degree that we invested in it. We have invested money, we've invested time, we invested our IP and all the things. I mean, it is just absolutely incredible what this is going to do for the world, and to be a part of something so big and so amazing and so universal is really humbling and quite lovely. I mean, it's just really lovely. I mean, Bill and I are people that are in service to others at a very high level, and this just is totally in our wheelhouse. And so we've been part of this for a long time. And the app is out on iOS and Android. And so we're doing the mega launch on February 14th. So it is a health and fitness philosophy that is inspired by love and balance, hence the launch on February 14th.
Yes, that month of love. Yes.
So we're a part of this coaching program as well in our transformational work, in addition to the other things that we do. And so it's very incredible. So that is definitely magical. So all things website and marketing and social media, and you're going to see it everywhere, guys. I promise you. So we wanted to sneak out a little Valentine's Day gift wrapped and with this big yummy satin bow.
What's the gift, baby?
Well, if you download the app on Valentine's Day, so on 2/14, which is a Sunday, if you download the app on Valentine's Day, you actually get the app for $1 a month for a year. So for $12, you get the app when normally it's $20.
So you're saying I could actually get an app that can
transform.
transform.
Yeah, and I don't use that lightly. I mean, I know that there's all of that stuff out there, take this pill and this is going to happen, and buy this whatever program and your online business is going to soar, or buy this lead generating thing and you'll never have to prospect again. And,
Right.
whatever shiny object is your du jour. But this, I promise you, I mean, you and I are walking testimonials.
Yeah, for sure. We are. And so with that being said, $1 a month for the whole year is, for something so transformational, is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And what that really inspires me to put out there right now, Nancy, is that next week's episode is about the app.
Okay.
And
awesome.
I think we've talked about it a little bit before, but
we've gone into game days and the balance chart and different habits that we use on the balance chart. Like, I believe we did one episode about how we don't eat after a certain time,
right,
because it allows our body to process and detox and just all of the extraordinary things. I mean, it's helped us with decreasing the alcohol and decreasing, / eliminating, lots of things, processed sugar, and increasing in running, and increase in flexibility, and increase in water. I mean, it's just done tremendous things. So yes, we can do a full-on episode.
Yeah, let's do that. Cool. Done.
Love it.
I got it on the calendar.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. So that's my magic too. All things around the app. It's been an amazing journey, and I know it will continue to be an amazing journey. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very excited.
What's going on with this episode today, here, now, in the present time?
Yeah. So Sex, Money, and Real Estate podcast is all about increasing your relationships, right? So whether it's your relationship to yourself and your personal relationships, and yet it's the relationships to your business as well. And so Bill and I subscribe to, if your personal life is out of whack, then your businesses are out of whack too, because things come from personal. Things ultimately come from you first. And then if you're full and feeling it, then that's going to spill over into your family, into your intimate partnerships, which is then going to spill over into your business partnerships. And so that's what we're playing for, is the totality of that life experience, the totality of the personal relationships and the business relationships, the super juicy, connected, synergistic relationships in personal and business. And so what we're talking about this week is a deeper dive into a conversation that we shared with you guys back in episode 43, which, where we talked about our emotional maturity and our journey starting as a 24 and a 26-year-old. And here now, we're 49 and, you're 51, almost 52. I guess you're 51 and a half.
Ish.
But, and just moving through that journey, and then all of the bumps and bruises and pushes and pulls along the way. And, you and I have really kind of been moving through it the last 8 or 9 months as we move into the next level up of our emotional maturity. So we wanted to circle back on that conversation and share with you that we have decided to go into therapy and, just talk a little bit about what that process is like. And really, it's recontextualizing the conversation around what it means to need a therapist, and how therapy is a wonderful tool for support. And then at the end, through all of this, has resulted in this beautiful gift in which we're going to share with you. So we've added a new component to the podcast that definitely allows for more transparent sharing. So we'll talk about that at the end. So
cool. So all of that, and the thing is that, at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like we talk about it on most episodes. Like you need a coach in all areas of your life, somebody who does it bigger, better, at a different level, at a higher level, has more reps in it, whatever the area of your life. And so, in this time, in this season of our lives, we're looking for somebody who can help elevate us to a different level. And in some areas it may not be easy to elevate to another area because we have a lot of reps in with each other, and in other areas of life, there's probably things that have been put on the back burner where we're seeing opportunity right now, and so that's why we're seeing a therapist now, to level up, and a lot of it being around our communication and different ways to approach each other and approach ourselves when we're having these conversations before we approach each other. Mm-hmm. So pretty cool process. We're just getting into it. We're just kind of like at the tip of the iceberg right now. And, as things move along, we'll definitely report back and let you guys know what's going on. Mm-hmm. But, at the end of the day though, why do people see a therapist?
Why do people see a therapist?
Yeah. Why, or what's a sign that you might need to see a therapist? Or,
well, I feel like it's all around feeling stuck in an area that mm-hmm. you are unable to move through.
Right.
I definitely feel like that is where we are with it, is that it's like we're having the same argument over and over again, and we're talking about all the ancillary issues instead of really getting to the root of the issue, like or the root of the problem, but we can't get through the symptoms in order to actually get down again to the root of the problem. So mm-hmm. that's where you and I personally get stuck, is in the BS, is what I call it. It's BS. You all know what BS is, but it's also belief systems,
right?
And so the ego gets involved and starts raging, and there's just so much resistance and desire to be right in a situation that it just turns into an argument. And mm-hmm. frankly, I'm complete with the arguments or the disagreements, and I'm in a space where, and this is me speaking for me, I'm in a space where I'm ready to move through that. So there's that component of feeling stuck for mm-hmm. sure. I would say that there's some type of trauma associated with needing to see a therapist.
Sure, absolutely. Whatever it is,
right?
Trauma.
Traumas. Yeah. I mean, they're all levels and all areas of life.
Yeah. And, it could be a past trauma or something that's currently happened, but, these things happen, and without all the tools, and even with the tools, here's the thing, even with the tools, it can be hard to process that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if a really, really crazy argument got lodged as a trauma because it wasn't fully processed, mm-hmm. then, it could be something, I'm going to air quote here, it could be something as simple as an argument being lodged in your body, in your emotional body, as a trauma. And then that needs assistance and support and honoring in an environment in which you can unravel that and process it out. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then at the end of the day, whatever the feels are for you, those, that you are having a hard time reconciling, whether it's depression or sadness or anger or anything that really takes you out of you being you, or you feeling like yourself, and, it's a great place to be because, you're with somebody that can help you process something, because that's what they do for a living. Mm-hmm. They help you process things, and you can be vulnerable. You can be vulnerable in that space. You're talking to somebody again who has time and education, and it's private. It's private. If you're not ready to let that stuff get out, to the general public or to your family, your friends, or whatever, you have an opportunity to process it. The feelings and the emotions first with somebody else before you try to process it, with somebody else, closer to you. Mm-hmm. So, and it's just, as an unbiased take on things. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that too. Mm-hmm. So how is, with all that being said, then how do you, Nance, feel about, what's your feels around being in therapy right now?
Well, I thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, we've had one session, so I think it would be powerful to just take them through our process of how we got to where we are now. And so you and I have been in therapy before.
Mm-hmm.
And that was right when Rex was born. So that was 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, when we were in therapy then, there was definitely for me a lot more judgment around what did I do wrong? What's wrong with us? What we need to fix us, or, if this doesn't work, then who knows what's going to happen. And now I have this baby, and, so there was a lot of self-judgment around being in therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I've had experience with therapy before, like when my parents were going through divorce and there was the infidelity associated with that. There was a series of family counseling, and then I would see, her name was Natalie, and I would see Natalie by myself, and then, or me and my father would go and see Natalie, or me and my sisters, or me and my mom, or whatever. So Natalie was in our life, a good portion of time when I was growing up. So that was like, I want to say that was like 15, 16, gosh, maybe even 17. And so, I have had great experience with it. And I knew that there was a sense that things were working out, yet it was still this clandestine belief that you didn't talk about the fact that you were in therapy. Like that was just not something that you talk about.
Right.
So when we did it 15 years ago, there was still some of that grit around that, some of that shame. And yet now part of the recontextualization process of being in therapy is that, you go to a chiropractor when you're out of alignment. So you go to a chiropractor to get realigned. You go to a dentist to realign your teeth. So that's how I recontextualized it. That's
a great analogy. I love that.
And so for me, going to the therapist is a realignment. Do I think that we're going to see her forever? No, I don't. Just like I don't think that, I'm going to need braces forever. Not that I have braces now, although I do need Invisalign. But
that's another episode.
That's another episode. But I believe the important part in recontextualizing the opportunity for therapy is to set the intention to move into the therapy sessions with what it is that you want to achieve in terms of what do I want to get out of therapy? And then it also allows you the space to have the conversations with the kids, So it's super important that they have a clear understanding, a transparent understanding of what it means to be in therapy, and that they're literally watching a 25-year relationship evolve before their eyes. And this is how we do it. So this was a breakdown. This is something that we're moving through. Yes, it's lasting longer than other breakdowns, and yet mom and dad have been together for 25 years. So you're watching the love story evolve, and this is how we're doing it. So I think it's beautiful. I think it's a super important part of, again, just recontextualizing that disempowering connotation of therapy into something empowering for the purpose of breaking through the breakdown.
And how about them like turning around and they did it separately. They did it independently of each other, but I think one was like one part of the day, and then the other kid asked during dinner, but independently they asked us how the therapy session was going.
Yeah.
Or how it went or whatever.
Yeah. It was just like a matter of like, oh, how was school today? Oh, how was your therapy session today?
Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say there was an impact. I think our oldest especially, the youngest, I guess Lucas I haven't heard too much expression out of him around it. Rex seemed a bit more opinionated when we were talking to him about like how bad are things, and do you think this is going to last forever, and that kind of stuff. So, and I appreciate the questions, and again, it's just the real conversations we're having with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
no, I believe that they're very aware. They're very tapped in to uh, how we are and how we're handling this. And frankly, as we're speaking about emotional maturity, us having these conversations with them in the transparent way that we're having them is the process of us leveling up our emotional maturity and
mhm.
truly owning what it is that we've created in our relationship. Like, it may not be the greatest way to level up emotional maturity by creating a breakdown or an argument or a disagreement, and yet this is how we've chosen to do it. So we're owning the responsibility of that, moving through the emotion of it. And, again, it's not all rainbows and unicorns while we're moving through the emotion of it. And yet we're still, I feel that we are more emotionally equipped to have the conversations with each other and with them. So,
Mm.
the communicate, I mean, it's communication. Like,
Yeah,
we're deepening our intimacy with them.
and it's the same communication we've always practiced.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you and I are looking to, deepen our levels of communication in ways that are more interdependent and creating synergy and less dependence. But the way we've always approached our conversations with the boys has still been high levels of communication,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was sex or money or real estate, and and the ins and outs. We don't really sugarcoat anything with them. If they walk in on a conversation that we're in the middle of and it's a deep conversation and they start picking up the essence of it and asking questions, then we'll stop and revisit these things, as appropriate and have just about any conversation with them, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So whether it's teachers in school or homework or feedback we're getting about them or us or our friends, our family, we have a very transparent lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
and just as transparent with them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's beautiful. It's totally beautiful.
Yep.
So, but at the end of the day, there's still impact on the business, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is definitely impact on the business. I mean, especially, when we get into our conversation, because the other thing that we're moving through is just increasing our levels of trust for each other. And, that is definitely a delicate situation because, when trust is low, it is challenging. It's very challenging to move through the level of decision making that we move through. I mean, with all of the businesses, with the kids and each other and our emotions, and, can you trust that I'm going to be there for you when you're sharing something with me? And can I trust that you're going to share something with me? I mean, that's really the second conversation, the second opportunity that we're moving through. And sometimes it is paralyzing, to the business. And sometimes we don't do business, or we'll have a giant day planned and it won't happen because we'll get into an argument. Again, remember the ancillary stuff where we'll be arguing about the minutia of whatever. And we just need to take a time out, essentially, and allow space for us to move through our stuff as individuals. And that'll look like different things, whether it's calling on somebody or taking a walk or going for a run or taking a drive or, separating, like leaving the house or whatever. And what I feel like there is definitely a respect there for each one of us to allow ourselves in that process to do that, so that we don't do or say anything out of anger or spite or any of that stuff. So I appreciate the space that we allow each other. And I can tell you as a high achiever that day after day, that stuff does definitely get annoying. After a while, I'm like, okay, well, let's, we've got these videos to do, or I'll,
yeah.
And okay, we've got,
Can't we just possibly table this so that we can? And, to a degree you can, but then you lose some authenticity with it. So, so sometimes you can't table it.
What do you mean?
Like push it off to the side. It can carry on with business. And then there's other times where you can, where, the business can be more, recentering, I guess, because there's still some common denominators there. And the business can help take some focus off of us. I will say, although helpful, not sustainable. If you continue to, sweep things under the rug to focus on something else, then that rug is the lumps in that rug are going to get pretty. Yeah, they're going to trip you up.
Gotcha. Yep.
So.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool. So what else?
So our first session, we had our first session last week.
Yeah.
And, we went through a series. We sought referrals for therapists. One of our very close friends is a therapist. And so she recommended a few different people. And then, frankly, I asked some of my coaching clients and then we did a bunch of research. And so you and I would send each other, hey, this is the person that I found. What do you think? This person I found. What do you think? And then each other would check the therapist out. And then once we agreed on somebody to reach out to, we reached out to them. So we reached out to like 3 or 4. I mean, I feel like we did our due diligence and had discovery phone calls and those types of things. And it was very important. I mean, I feel like you guys have a sense of who we are and we're energetic beings. And so things have got to align with our energy and our principles and how we do life and those types of things. And so if it's not a win-win, then there's no deal. You know? And so we selected one and we did her intake form. Each did her intake form. And so we had our first session last week. And it was great. I mean, it was really great. We set intentions for the therapy session. And again, I feel like you guys know us and you know that Bill and I set intentions for everything. We're very intentional beings. It's how we run our life. So why wouldn't we set intentions for our therapy session? Right. And
we surrendered to the process.
We sure did.
So, a lot of times, especially, I mean, Nancy, you definitely are a leader anyway. And, I lead in many areas of my life as well. And
you do.
When you put the two of us together, we tend to lead others. So, having us both side by side on a Zoom call with somebody else, and in essence, throw our hands up in the air and say, "I surrender." We're in this to follow you and to heed to your guidance. That's something. That's something for us, and that's something for me. So anyway, so I appreciate us running through the process, and definitely a huge part of anybody going into therapy is just not to try not to control things.
There is no try.
There you go.
Yeah, you cannot. Yeah, I mean, and that was one of our agreements, was that we were going into the process surrendered for the purpose of moving through the communication argument and the trust argument so that we can evolve. Because if we weren't, then what would the point be? I mean, that's just mental masturbation at that point,
right?
Honestly. So,
nice.
So yes, so absolutely be prepared with questions or your curiosities, or frankly, be prepared to be quiet and listen wholeheartedly and be present with your person that you've chosen. So.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was a great session, and looking forward to the next one for sure.
Yep. So I appreciate that. Is there anything else that?
No, I look forward to the more sessions and sharing more about the evolution of us and what that is going to look like. So that'll be fun. For sure.
Yeah, I do want to say, I'm really inspired by us because during this whole process, we have maintained our date nights, which are on Saturday nights. We have maintained our sexy time together. And so, we do have 2 times a week to where we move sexual energy that is, again, scheduled, i.e. intentional. And, there are other times that things spark up for sure. Yet I am very inspired by our dedicated practice of depositing in each other, even though there have been times during those times that it wasn't, again, rainbows and unicorns. Yet,
right. Well, and the total, not to go too far down this road, but one of the reasons why we have set times for sexy time is so it takes some of the emotion out of it. I feel like it, I don't feel like it, whatever. It's an immovable time, like date night is an immovable time that we know that we can depend on each other to be there no matter what our feelings are for each other. So that's what I got.
Nice.
Cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's it, and I think that leads us right into. You said you had a special announcement, or
I do. Well, it's fantastic. This whole thing that we're moving through right now is a breakdown, a breakthrough, and we say we specialize in turning breakdown into breakthroughs. I mean, that's how we coach, and so we practice what we preach. So we want to hear more about your stories. So what stories have become breakdowns, or what stories were breakdowns that now are breakthroughs? Like, I want to hear more about that. Bill wants to hear more about that, to the point where we want to interview you. So we've set up a special podcast page on our jamesonandcompany.com page that you can go through and obviously listen to the podcast, but you can also fill out a form to either you wanted to be a guest, or if you wanted to submit a written story about your breakdown and how it's become a breakthrough. So if you're a thought leader in the industry of sex, money, and or real estate, or you're an agent, an individual agent, or an agent couple like me and Bill that has a story about how life has hit you hard, which I'm pretty sure that's everybody out there.
right?
And you made it, and you broke through, and you prevailed. We want to hear about it. So do you want to be a guest on our podcast, or do you want to submit a written story? We want it all. And so honestly, this is a whole new context to B2B. Business to business, I get it. But this is breakdown to breakthrough. Or you can even say bed and breakfast, because we're in real estate. But, but this is B2B. This is the whole new world of B2B. So, again, that page is jamesonandcompany.com, and then you're going to go to the podcast.
Yes, and
podcast page.
Whatever the breakdown is that led to the breakthrough, and whatever the process, we want to hear about it, whether it's around prospecting or your life with your partner in business or personal, whatever the breakdown is. We would love to have, if you're willing to share it, we really love to hear it. So
absolutely. Because that's the thing. I mean, what we're clear about is that there's patterns in life, just like there are objections. There's common objections that you receive on a listing appointment. There's common objections that you receive when you're on a prospecting call with an expired listing. So there's patterns in life, just like the objections in life. And we want to see the patterns. It's really interesting, and it's all about connecting. And again, it's moving from the breakdown to breakthrough, so we can all be in service to each other and inspire each other and just really collaborate. I mean, that's what it's all about is, I lift you up and you lift me up, and we create this amazing life experience. So let's all do it together.
Yeah.
That's sustainability. That's health. That's PPC balance.
Yes. By you sharing your story, you can not only can you heal yourself to a new level just by sharing the story, but you're going to heal others as well. So put it out there, please.
Yes. Cool. So that's what we got.
All right. Well, I'm feeling complete.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about the app coming out.
Yes.
And the big launch on that.
Yes.
I'm excited about this episode, and I'm excited about you.
Cool. Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. We got to go.
All right.
The man's excited.
Love goes out to all. We'll see you. We'll see you next week.
Awesome. Love you guys.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, what a show. Thank you so much for listening. If you're inspired, we ask that you share the podcast with one person and subscribe and follow our show. I'm Nancy Jameson.
And I'm Bill Jameson.
And remember, it's a great life.
Woo!
Quick note about the Sex, Money, and Real Estate podcast. We are not doctors or licensed therapists. We are a joyous, abundant, and mature couple passionately sharing our story of growth around sex, money, and real estate. Our thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are our own, so please consult your doctor, healthcare provider, or your broker regarding any questions or issues you have related to your physical or mental health or specific state laws regarding your real estate business.